It is a humid afternoon in the equatorial heart of Africa. The Congo River, the deepest in the world, folds itself into a narrow gorge and vanishes downward. Beneath its brown, churning surface lies a world without light. And in that world, something is swimming that has no eyes. The Congo River drains an area larger than the Indian subcontinent. From its headwaters in the highlands of Zambia, it curves in a great arc across the continent, crossing the equator twice. It carries more water to the sea than any river on Earth except the Amazon. And along one narrow stretch below the city of Kinshasa, it plunges into an abyss unlike any freshwater habitat on the planet. This stretch is known as the Lower Congo Rapids. For roughly 200 miles, the river squeezes through a corridor of ancient rock. The channel narrows, the gradient steepens, and the water accelerates into a violent hydraulic engine. In places, the river reaches depths of more than 700 feet, deeper than any river ever measured. The forces at work here defy easy imagination. Whirlpools open and close like breathing mouths. Standing waves rise higher than a man. Beneath the surface, currents shear against one another, creating walls of turbulence that separate one patch of river from the next as effectively as mountain ranges separate continents. It was this hidden geography that first drew the attention of ichthyologists. For decades, fishermen along the banks had spoken of strange creatures brought up in their nets. Fish that were pale, fish that were misshapen, fish that seemed to belong to another world entirely. Scientists suspected the rapids were doing something extraordinary to the animals that lived within them. In 2007, a team of researchers led by the American Museum of Natural History's Melanie Stiasny began a systematic survey of the Lower Congo. They worked with local fishermen using traditional hooks and traps. What they hauled up from the deep water was not merely unfamiliar. It was, in the strictest scientific sense, entirely new. Among the specimens was a small, ghostly cichlid. Its body was pink and translucent, its scales barely pigmented. Where its eyes should have been, there was only smooth skin. Stiasny and her colleagues gave it a name that captured its otherworldly nature. They called it Lamprologus lethops, the blind cichlid of the Congo. It was, and remains, the only known blind cichlid in the world. Cichlids are one of the most successful fish families on Earth, with more than 1,700 species scattered across Africa and the Americas. They are known for their sharp vision, their vivid colors, and their complex social behaviors. Lamprologus lethops had abandoned every one of these traits. The fish measures only a few inches in length. Its skull is thinner than that of its surface-dwelling relatives. Its swim bladder is reduced, its body streamlined for life pressed against the riverbed. Everything about its anatomy suggests an animal that has spent a very long time in a place where light does not reach. But how does a fish go blind in a river? The answer lies in the physics of the Lower Congo itself. The extreme turbulence of the rapids creates zones of near-permanent darkness at depth. Sediment churns constantly. Even at noon, the deepest pools are as black as a cave. For a fish born in such a place, eyes are not merely useless, they are a liability. Eyes are metabolically expensive to grow and maintain. They are vulnerable to injury and infection. In an environment where sight offers no advantage, evolution begins to erase them. The process is called regressive evolution, and it has produced blind cave fish in every corner of the world. But Lamprologus lethops is not a cave fish. It lives in an open river. This is what makes the discovery so profound. The Congo's abyss is functioning as a cave without walls. The turbulence itself has become the barrier. Fish that stray into the depths cannot easily return, and fish above cannot easily descend. Populations are isolated by moving water as thoroughly as if they were separated by stone. Genetic studies confirmed this astonishing pattern. Populations of related cichlids living only a few hundred meters apart on opposite banks of the rapids had been separated for hundreds of thousands of years. The river was not a highway between habitats. It was a shredder tearing life into isolated fragments and letting each fragment evolve alone. Along with the blind cichlid, the researchers documented dozens of other endemic species. There were eels with reduced eyes. There were mormyrids, the electric elephant fish, that had evolved unusually powerful electrical organs to navigate the darkness. There were catfish with elongated barbels, feeling their way through a world they could not see. Each of these creatures tells the same story in a different accent. Life adapts to what it is given. In the Lower Congo, What it is given is darkness, pressure, and violence. And in response, it grows new senses, sheds old ones, and rewrites the ancient blueprint of the vertebrate body. Studying these fish is extraordinarily difficult. The rapids are too dangerous for submersibles. Divers cannot descend safely into currents that can pull a boat under in seconds. Almost every specimen ever collected has come from the nets of local fishermen, brought up already dead or dying from the rapid change in pressure. Much of what happens in the abyss remains, quite literally, invisible. The blind cichlid itself has never been observed alive in its natural habitat. What is known of it comes from its corpse. Its swim bladder is often ruptured when it reaches the surface, a sign that it lives under great pressure far below. Some specimens arrive with tissues bleached almost white by decompression. The abyss keeps its secrets. And yet the abyss is not safe. The Congo faces pressures that no cichlid ever evolved to withstand. Proposed hydroelectric projects, including the vast Grand Ingar Dam, would alter the flow of the rapids permanently. The turbulence that isolated these species, that made them what they are, could be smoothed away within a human lifetime. Conservationists warn that the lower Congo is one of the least understood biodiversity hotspots on Earth. Species may be vanishing before they are even described. The blind cichlid, unknown to science until 2007, could disappear before anyone learns how it lives. Its story could end before its story is fully told. It is a humid afternoon in the equatorial heart of Africa. The great river folds itself into a gorge and vanishes downward. And somewhere in that hidden dark, a small pale fish drifts along the bottom, feeling the pressure of a world it has never seen. It is blind, it is alone. It is a reminder that even now, on a planet mapped and photographed and named, the deepest questions still lie beneath the water.